Being out here in the cemetery constantly, once in a while you come across someone who completely catches you off guard. His story is not only interesting, but it has many elements of history. This is the story of First Lieutenant Ramon Noches, the Tuskegee Airman. On March 5, 1918, Ramon Noches was born to Raymond and Willie Gray Noches in Junction City, Kansas. Ramon's mother married again and had a son named Crespin. As of 1920, Ramon and his half-brother were raised by their single mother and their grandmother, Angie, and her husband, John Isis. As a student, Ramon was exceptionally bright, scoring higher on tests than most of his peers, especially in mathematics. In high school, he ran track, played varsity football. He was well known as an agile, disciplined team player. For his assists and points scoring for the win, he was frequently featured in local newspapers. Ramon graduated from high school in 1936. He attended Kansas State University and then transferred to Emporia State University. In 1939, Ramon married his longtime girlfriend, Rose M. Newman of Jackson, Missouri. On January 5, 1941, Rose and Ramon welcomed twins named Ramon Crespin and Ramona. His son, Ramon Crespin, would go on to marry Nancy Todd, daughter of Lucinda Todd, an NAACP activist in Topeka, Kansas, who fought for school integration and was one of the first petitioners for the Brown versus Board of Education. The planning of the Brown versus Board of Education took place in Nancy's childhood home. Ramon Crespin would retire as a colonel in the United States Air Force and was in the Vietnam War. His daughter Ramona became a nurse after high school, and then in 1990, she joined the Army Reserves as an Army medical nurse. She would retire from the Army Reserves and go on to a consulting firm. Her daughter also joined the Air Force just like her uncle and retired from the Air Force as well. Ramon joined the Army from Junction City, Kansas in 1940. In 1943, he was accepted into the flying training program at Tuskegee, graduating with pilot class 1944 Delta. .966 men, consisting of mostly African American and some Latino men, were the first African American pilots in the U.S. military. These men trained at Tuskegee Training Airfield in Alabama as Air Corps cadets. Their flight training was primarily at Moton Field. They trained as pilots, navigators, bombardiers, maintenance, and support staff. Renowned for their squadron's achievements, the Tuskegee Airmen flew more than 15,000 sorties over North America and Europe during World War II and destroyed more than 250 enemy aircraft on the ground and 150 in the air. The squadron never lost a bomber to enemy aircraft fire during their escort missions. The group of brave men that took to the skies with their motto, "Spit Fire," they fought to overcome the struggle of injustice and prejudices that plagued the Army Air Corps in the era of Jim Crow during the 1940s. 1 year after D-Day on June 6, 1945, during a routine night training flight with the 477th Bombardment Group at Gunter Army Airfield in Montgomery, Alabama, The B-25 Mitchell that Ramon Noches and 7 other men were aboard, including one white airman, crashed 8 miles outside of the airfield on an oncoming landing pattern. It was noted that the crash may have been caused by loss of fuel pressure from a fuel cap not being returned to its locked position. Noches and 6 other airmen perished in the crash. 1 airman survived. Ramon was sent back to his hometown of Junction City to be laid to rest at the Highland Cemetery, where his grandmother is also interred. His mother planted peonies at the plot that bloom a beautiful pink every spring in honor of her son. There's a chunk missing from the upper right-hand corner of the marker that is in possession of his granddaughter as a keepsake of her trailblazing grandfather. First Lieutenant Ramon Francis Noches became more than just another name on a roster. First Lieutenant Noches has a long living legacy that spans 7 decades. His children and their children still carry the pride of their grandfather, a Tuskegee Airman.